Hello everybody, this is Alex from Hardcoring Guides, bringing you my guide for Transformers Devastation Grimlock campaign on Prime difficulty. Today we're doing Chapter 1 entitled City of Steel. And yeah, this is the, of course, obviously at this point, the 5th time that we've done this, and it certainly won't be the last right now. So, but we are playing Grimlock, and I've got quite a few things I want to talk about real quick. So I equipped him with just a regular Energon sword and a Energon hammer. And for those that are not aware about Energon stuff, you don't have to do that, I just do it anyway. And I'm just showcasing here real quick that I have tech equipped this time. I did that, I think, back in Optimus Prime. Now, the problem with tech, though, and trying to show off, what I have, is you might not be able to get the exact same tech that I do, but if you can just get good dodge tech, and if you're lucky enough, even more like maybe attack up tech or whatever, just go for that. I'd say dodge is much more important to have, like invincibility frames, or even just the amount of time you're allowed to dodge for. But then again, I mean, you could do it with no equipment too, of course. Yeah, again, if you're new to this series at all and you're just now finding out about this, Grimlock guide might not actually be much of a guide, commentary-wise, because I typically do a lot of guides in the way of talking about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, if there's any background things that you need to know, which there's a few things I can talk about with Grimlock and why I really love him. I will admit that I was wrong in the last campaign for Wheeljack. I think I mentioned that that Grimlock was like the best. I think I played him and might have recorded, or that might have been Zero Mission, I talked about it. Anyway, while recording Grimlock, I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love Grimlock. He's so fucking fun. It's the one character I was terrified of playing, but then I just ended up loving him. And he's got a lot of stuff that, I guess I probably should talk about, but, yeah, so Bumblebee is just the best, just hands down. That really doesn't matter. And I also just recently learned that Optimus Prime with the hammer equipped can actually do a double vehicle strike. I just didn't know that because I don't really play Optimus very much anymore. So there's that. And Bumblebee is good for getting double S ranks. So if you're going for that, then there you go. You just build up dodges, you build up vehicle attacks. That's your main thing. So anyway, let's talk about the dinosaur in the room, of course, and talk about Grimlock and how he functions and how much better / worse he is in some regards or whatever. The typical things. Oh, before I do that, actually, real quick, I do have a Confuse gun equipped for this campaign run. I don't think it really helped that much, but I did it anyway because I thought maybe it would. He does actually come equipped with his own flamethrower for, long range shots, but I'd still recommend having a loudspeaker and at the very least a machine gun just to deal with seekers and anything in the distance. But the flamethrower itself is fine, it's not a machine gun. And I'm running hammer because, this is my first time really playing with the hammer. And it's been obvious, we've already known about it a long time ago when this game came out. Everybody already knew that, hammer was, one of the best weapons. And, yeah, that still stays true, so. Also, real quick, again, if you want to watch a real guide of this, I'd say watch my Optimus / Bumblebee run. That'd probably be more centered around an actual technical guide. So there's that. This is just going to be talking about, Grimlock stuff and what have you, and the intricacies of Grimlock that I know of. So starting off, we'll go with the very basics of Grimlock, I guess. The things that, everybody's different for the most part, but the thing that makes... Well, we'll talk about the ability. We'll talk about his ability. Grimlock has 2 abilities, actually. He has one for his vehicle mode, and he has one for his, you can call it Dino mode. We'll probably just call it Dino mode. He's got one ability for Dino mode and one ability for just his regular, standing, untransformed mode. And what that does is essentially kind of somewhat the same thing, but slightly different. They're both a grab attack, and if you're familiar with fighting games, command grab is basically what we're doing. So his standing, non-transformed version, although in all technicality, Grimlock's better just being a dino all the time anyway. Not for the campaign run, but just in general. I think he would look better if he was always like that. I think he just is normally in his dino form. So his standing humanoid form, his L2 does a grab much like Broly, and you'll grab somebody by the head and you'll throw them, you'll run with him on the ground and do a bit of damage, and that can be kind of useful for certain fights. You'll see it definitely in this chapter when I'm fighting the Constructicons, and I'm using that move to just either get out of a situation or put them in a corner. Anything can really help with that, but I'll probably talk about that a bit more. Also, real quick, hammered charge, triangle and air is really good. That's a common thing, and Grimlock's transformation state when he's in Dino form, square, square, square is a pretty good thing to get a vehicle attack going, so there you go. But anyway, back to the ability. So, ability in Dino form basically makes it to where you saw earlier where you just grab somebody with his mouth and then he spins it around. You don't have to spin the whole thing around. You can stop early and then just have him not do it and just slam the character, but he just does like a standing neutral slam. And it also does damage to other enemies around the field. Now, I don't think the running version of it, like the humanoid version, does damage to other enemies around. I don't remember. I want to say probably not, but there's also a possible chance. And real quick, yeah, the hammer does sometimes allow, Grimlock to do a double vehicle attack. This is why Bumblebee is way more worth it, because for everything he does, is just a double vehicle attack regardless, which is really nice. Sideswipe has that too, but I always thought it was like RNG, but no, it's based on whatever move you're doing or whatever weapons you have. I didn't know that. All these years of playing the damn game. I know, I'm pretty fucking slow. But yeah, so his overdrive ability is essentially just think sideswipe, where you can kind of aim it at somebody. However, I would argue that Grimlock's overdrive, his ultimate attack, if you will, is just, in my opinion, not really that good. Like, Bumblebee's is okay. Optimus is pretty good. This one's just fine. I mean, it's not that it's terrible, but Sideswipe has a pretty damn good one, and arguably, I'd say Wheeljack has probably one of the best ones. That's just my own opinion, dude. So, there's that. But I do think that, in all honesty, his overdrive is just fine. I mean, you can aim it, just like Sideswipe, which is really nice. But, in all honesty, I think I'd rather use Sideswipe because I can just shoot, like, 5-6 missiles, and not just the one. So, which, at least with this one, it does piercing, I think. At least I hope it does. It should. So, it's been a bit since I recorded this. I don't remember the exact thing about the overdrive, how it works, but from the looks of it, I believe, if I remember correctly, and from the looks of it, I think it does pierce enemies. So, something else that's a little bit, I guess you could say, not really super advanced, but more like intermediate stuff. The basics about Grimlock are pretty much done. Like, you just got your ability, your overdrive. That's like the main changes. You can do combat in Dino form, but I guess it's maybe potentially a bit more intermediate. Also, be careful with the running thing, because when you're doing ramps, when you're doing these types of ramps and stuff, it's kind of aggravating that you have to go with a full throttle run, and then you have to jump before you land on the ramp to get there. So there's that. But yeah, I would say this is maybe potentially a little bit intermediate. I don't really know if that's true or not, but I'm just going to say that it is. So one attack that I like doing a lot is when you're doing a rush attack. So basically when you're going into a full charge, and you can tell when, Grimlock is going to, when he's in charging motion, because his flame in his mouth will activate. That move right there, that triangle move, is incredibly important to have. Not just in rush form, but there's an upgrade you can buy. If you're not familiar with this game, there's a move you can buy. When you dodge, you can hold square or hold triangle, and you could do essentially like an uppercut attack, depending on, well, at least with Grimlock, it depends on what form you're in. So if you're in humanoid form, you could just dodge, hold square, triangle, and then do like an uppercut thing. But if you're in Dino form, you should, in theory, be able to do like a Dino dodge, as Grimlock would call it. You can basically do a Dino dodge and then hold triangle, and it'll do like that slam move. And you'll see me do that a lot throughout the campaign. So just bear in mind that that's something that I argue is actually pretty damn worth it. I would even go as far as to say it's probably one of the best triangle like rush attacks in the game. So that's, yeah, once again, that's just me saying that. Not sure if that's exactly 100% true or precise. I would argue that still, if you still want to get, if you want to still feel like who's the best character, then I think it's just Bumblebee. Something else real quick, too, that's a little bit of a fun intricacy, is the fact that Grimlock when he's in Dino form, because he can combo in Dino form, because he's the only one that can technically do that, he has an uppercut move. This is his normal square move. It does a launcher during, I think, the second or first hit. And it may not seem very important. I mean, it's Transformers Devastation, and once you kind of know what the game is like, just like with any game, it just becomes kind of just pattern recognition and just realizing what works and what doesn't. And even though, like, you could argue like an uppercut move just seems kind of pointless, it's still just kind of a nice, fun thing to kind of have around just in the off chance. Not that enemies can't, retaliate when they're in air. It's not that it just makes things easier. It's just nice, I guess. I don't know, like, it's kind of nice to look at. I mean, I can't really say that it offers too much in terms of help, but, I mean, it's nice to have, goddammit, I'll say that. It's nice to have an uppercut move. I mean, you could do an uppercut move regardless. Like, you do like a basic sword combo with a, pause square at the end or whatever it was. And then, or like square, pause, triangle, I think it was. You could just do something like that and then go for an uppercut. Yeah, sure, but yeah. Now, granted, if we're, again, back to this game, talking about it specifically, in all honesty, uppercut is not, from what I've always played, it hasn't always been really that useful for me. But yeah, right there real quick, that's where that triangle slam, rush move, rush attack kind of just comes in quite clutch. Because it just completely decimates shields. It just gets rid of enemies. It's just really nice. It's a super nice utility that I would highly recommend you look into that. So, anything else about Grimlock I can really discuss that people might not know about? You can technically combo in his Dino form. That's something that I've learned. Because, like, if you do a triangle move, he'll just do, like, a basic kick. It's not an uppercut. It's just, like, a very basic kick. And it doesn't really, as far as I've learned, hasn't really done much to help. However, I would say that if you do, I can't remember exactly what it was, like maybe like square, 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 triangle or something like that. I think that's technically a combo that you can do. Also, something else real fast is don't worry about Megatron and his bullshit. So, you've probably seen me in the past playing this section and always just beating the shit out of Megatron because, like, he's pretty pathetically easy to take down here. He's nothing. I think the main goal is to just knock him on his ass, and right there, that was just a waste of an overdrive because there was no need for that. Maybe because, like, the iframes just came in, kicked in, and stopped me from hitting him. So, the thing is, I'll say this. When Megatron's in tank form, you could just let him run away and then go into the fight that way. You don't have to play his little game anymore, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And because of the fact that, like, the major downside, since we're going to talk about it right now, the major downside of Grimlock is the fact that because when he's in vehicle form, he does a roll, like a regular roll. He can go fast, but not to the extent that you really would want him to be. Like, even Optimus Prime, who's also a pretty relatively slow transformed character in comparison to the other 4 characters, he's probably like the second slowest, I think, if I had to guess. So that's why being, I want to say it's like the first fastest, and then it's Bumblebee, and then it's Wheeljack, Optimus, and then Grimlock. But Grimlock's major flaw is the fact that when he dodges in vehicle form, he's doing a regular, just run-of-the-mill dodge. And that slows you down. That stops you from being able to chase people down or whatever. It does kind of suck, sure, but it's not the end of the world. And of course, Megatron fight as normal. Because I'm using the Confused Ray this time around, I think it probably kind of helps a little bit. However, because of the way that Transformers Devastation is just kind of built, like, you can experiment, all you want, of course, but in all fairness, I do think that the machine gun after a vehicle attack maneuver with, like, whatever character, is great. Yeah, that's the ability move I was talking about earlier. Again, it can be nifty, but I do think that honestly his Dino Form ability is probably just a bit better. Even though, like, in all technicality, like, yes, it's great that I can take a guy and put him in a corner like Megatron and just put him toward the fence and hit him that way. Also, real fast, another thing that sucks about Grimlock is if you're in Dino Form, you count as like you're in non-transformed mode, which does help in the Constructicon finding sections. However, the main issue is when you're doing like tunnel stuff like I'm doing right now, you have to stop running in order to leave the tunnel. But you could, with these parts right here, with these Constructicon parts, you can actually activate the terminals even in Dino Form. It's pretty cool. Real quick, I'm not 100% knowledgeable, again, when it comes to the Confused gun. I'm not, like, fully aware of exactly what truly can do, like what full potential it has. However, I will say this, from what I've noted of it, it does seem like when you confuse somebody, they're not they're kind of stunned, but not really. I don't think they can attack you because like you can't really dodge their attacks while they're confused. I know I'm just spinning like a million. I'm yawning like severely bad right now. I'm so tired. I should have done this last week. Yada yada yada. I can bitch about myself all day and every day, and it just won't help much. But again, with this, you can stop it early. You don't do more damage just because you go on longer. That's not, as far as I can tell, much of a thing. But there you go. There's the first set of Constructicons, and there's that uppercut move I was talking about with the Dino Form that I honestly think, depending on the situation, can be kind of nice because he brings them up and brings them back down. And I feel like they don't really retaliate nearly as much as they would with anything else, but I don't know. Maybe there's something in the coding that makes it to where they retaliate more often to certain things. I'm not really sure about that. Honestly, like, speaking of coding stuff, I'm still pissed off that Hasbro delisted this damn game. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, this is one of the best. It's not. I wouldn't say that it's the best Platinum Games game. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, that sounds mean when I put it that way. It's not that, like, it's bad. It's far from bad. I mean, it's. I still think it's pretty damn good. You know, I still like the game a lot. Yeah, it's not that I think it's bad. It's just that there's Metal Gear Rising, you know? And I mean, in all fairness, I feel like that was finally the peak Platinum games that they could do. I will still say that when it comes to it, Bayonetta is Kamiya's magnum opus, and I still think that holds true. As I believe that he's the one that directed, I think. But I'd say Bayonetta 1 is like the magnum opus for Kamiya himself. Whereas Metal Gear Rising, I feel like it's the magnum opus of Platinum as a whole. It's definitely not Soul Cresta. Yeah, I still haven't bought that yet. So I can't really say, you know, whether or not it's good or not. I haven't bought it yet, but still. Real quick, talk about Platinum games. I've been playing a lot of Mega Man X recently, or just Mega Man stuff in general. And I think it'd be really cool if we ever got a Platinum Games, like Mega Man X game, that maybe focused more so on Zero, and then X was playable as well, but or just like some type of like weird Mega Man hodgepodge, you know, like a bunch of different Mega Man together in some random, just non-canon spin-off hack and slash. It has to be a hack and slash, with X being maybe the shooting component. If anything, like with Zero, like I thought about this too. Make it like Bayonetta. You know what I mean? Like, if it's going to be a game focused on Zero, because, like, I know X can have a sword. I'm just saying, like, if it was to be focused on Zero, make it to where, like, he could just use his sword like normal, and then he could just use his Buster arm as his shooting mechanic, and then have the dodge, the Witch Time dodge. Because fuck it. Because why not? There's something weird. I don't know what it is with Platinum / Clover. They have like this strange obsession with time, and it's so fucking cool. It's like JoJo from like part 3, 4, 5, and 6. Like every villain in those parts have a particular attack that's centered around some version of time relation. So just to kind of explain, you have Beautiful Joe. You can fast forward. You can slow down time. That's back in Clover. You have Okami, which, you know, you stop time to use the paintbrush. I'm stretching it. I know, I'm stretching it. But hear me out. With God Hand, the same thing. You can slow down time, but only just to be able to do your... Fuck, I already forgot what they're called. Damn it. Not your roulette, but what the fuck is it called again? Your special attacks, basically. That's probably stretching it. I'd say Beautiful Joe is probably the only realistic time-based game from Clover, but still, going forward in time, skipping Infinite Space, I've not played it. Mad World, I mean, not really. There's not really a time mechanic, I guess. But Bayonetta has Witch Time. Transformers Devastation obviously has Focus Time, which is essentially a mechanic that is obviously very closely related to the idea of Bayonetta. And then you have Metal Gear Rising with Blade Mode, which kind of acts like a time maneuver move, kind of, sort of. Not exactly to this extent, but I would say it's very time-related-ish. And then we have Team of T, which I think had a Witch Time type thing to it too, so I'm not going to talk about that one. And then Wonderful 101 like stops time so you can form up characters. But then again, you can say that's just a basic mechanic of any game, but I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of time mechanics or slowdown or whatever when it comes to Platinum Games / Clover. They really have this interesting set of stuff they can do. Also, yeah, sorry about not grabbing these ball things. In all technicality, I have every character up to level 99 anyway, so it's not like I need it. But I'm trying not to grab weapons as much as I possibly can, because I'm at the point where I have to sell them every goddamn chapter, pretty much. So I gotta be careful with like what I pick up and where and when and what how. Also, I don't think I'm gonna record anymore tonight. I'm not saying that because like, oh wow, this run sucks or whatever. I'm doing a horrible job with Grimlock, but I mean it's fine. As long as I get it done with, I'm okay with the video. I could always do better with it, with commentary wise, but I think it's gonna be about the same. But I have like this massive headache, and I'm super tired and just unreasonably sad. So yeah, that doesn't help much, I guess. Yeah, it's just been a long fucking day. It's been a really shitty day, so which can affect my videos, but I'm trying not to make any of that affect anything. So maybe Transformers might take a bit longer to come out, and I do apologize ahead of time if that's the case. If people are like pissed that, you know, where the fuck's my God of War Ascension? Like, I understand it should happen. I would like to at least record gameplay of it, maybe today. You know, I could always just whip it out tonight and try to. I said two different things, I know, but it's technically tonight. It's like 8. Yeah, it's 8 at night. I could try, but I am not looking forward to that one bit. I am not looking forward to it. So just bear in mind that this one might be a little longer to come out than the other ones. It depends. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Because usually when I get these headaches, I get them because I'm at work and I'm thinking all fucking day. And it sucks, man. It's hell on me. I should just go take a fucking grumpy old man nap or something. But anyway, back to Devastator fight. So hammer smash fist. You know, that kind of thing. It's really good. It's got really good stuff. I'm trying to remember how to do the spin move. Besides holding down triangle, I think was one of the options. I do think it's like square, square, triangle, and then you pause, and then you hit triangle again. Oh, God. I'm sure everyone, just like me back in the day, fell for the same thing. When you played DMC the first time, or hell, even Bayonetta or whatever, when you played one of those games for the first time, you saw the word pause in the moves list, and you thought to yourself, why the fuck would I pause the game? That's so dumb. Looking at it now, Do you think it would have been better if they had worded it as wait rather than saying pause? I don't know. I feel like pause just can trick people into thinking, like, do I actually have to pause the game? So, just funny little thing. I did that. I suffered for that for a while. Real quick, so why the spin move? I forget exactly why, but it's really good. That's the main thing I remembered about it was, like, it was pretty decent. So, I don't know. I might have better commentary the next parts. Might be able to explain stuff a bit better. But anyway, with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see y'all next time for some more Grimlock campaign. And of course, as always, take care, everybody.